Hi there. My name is Mark Birch, Global Startup Advocate at AWS.
I'm,
Introduce yourself.
I am Ron Konigsberg. I'm the CTO and co-founder at Gem, a new startup in the cloud security operations space.
I'm so glad to have you here to share a little bit about your story. I always like to get a sense of what is your background? Like, how did you come into the security space?
Cool. So I think my background is quite common for the Israeli startup ecosystem. So I did my bachelor's before the army, and then I joined the Israeli army to Unit 8200, which is like the equivalent to the Israeli equivalent for the NSA, and that's where I did cyber initially, and that's where I learned like everything I know in that area. I spent around 5-6 years there. And I was an engineer, an officer, led a team, and then I was released, and then actually I joined a startup in the analytics space, a company called Singular doing marketing analytics. I started as one of the first employees. The company grew to around 200 people. I ended up as the chief architect, so that's where I learned about the cloud, working with AWS, building something quite high scale for enterprise customers. And the Gem, I'm combining both the cyber and the cloud, so the background holds pretty good for that.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And so what was the inspiration for the startup? Did you get together maybe with like a co-founder and look at ideas? Was it something actually you realized during your work? Tell us.
So for my own experience, the most important thing is the team. And I knew that after Singular, my next role, my next adventure would be to start my own company. And that's part of the reason I joined there initially, because I wanted to learn. And then co-founders, it's about a match and timing. I think there are, if you're in the tech space for long enough, there are enough people that you would like to do something with, but timing is everything. There are a lot of things in life. And in the end of 2021, so around a year and a bit, two of myself and my two co-founders, we talked and we said that when we realized that we all want to do something right now, or close enough, or close enough that we can align. So that was the initial kickoff, that we have a solid team, that we trust each other. We know each other from the army, so around 15 years back. And that was the trigger to do something. And then in terms of the problem, we thought about, we knew we want to do cybersecurity. That's like the common denominator for all of us. And my co-founders came from an incident response company. So they saw a lot of real-life incidents, real-life cyber attacks in the wild. And the theme for Gem was actually from their experience in the field. We saw more and more attacks on a cloud infrastructure. And we decided to focus on that problem simply because we saw it in the wild. And we believed also that we see it a bit before it's widely spread.
So maybe tell us a bit more about the solution itself. Like how does it work, and how would your customers experience using it in their environment?
Yeah, sure. So we're building a platform for cloud security operations. What does it mean? It means we connect to any public cloud provider. AWS, of course, is one of them, and we have a simple integration. And then what we are offering is in a way to streamline and automate cloud security operations for security operations teams. So what does it mean? It means that we are able to detect threats. We're able to automate and simplify response, so you can respond to threats fast and with context. In the cloud, it might be challenging to gather all the context for a security team to understand what's going on. So we provide it out of the box, and also containment capabilities. So in a way, it's a 360 solution for security operation teams trying to handle cloud incidents.
That is so important because obviously you're aware of this, but we see all these security incidents happening each and every day.
Yeah.
And the technologies are becoming a lot more complex because we have the cloud, we have different technologies where there could be a lot more attack surfaces. Exactly. So you're just simplifying that whole process for the operations of a lot of complex security components that go into actually delivering customer experience.
There's a pitch for us.
Maybe I'll join you. But you've been on this journey, right? And so tell us, at what point, as you're building a product, talking to customers, did you feel you had traction, that people were looking at what you're doing and they said, I got it, and we need this right now?
Okay, so actually, I think first there is an interesting bit here. Like, when do you talk to customers? Do you talk when you have a product? So in my perspective, the answer is no. You talk to customers like before you start a company, ideally. So that's what we did. We tried to talk to security practitioners, CISOs that we know before we even selected the idea. So we had a few ideas out there. And as part of the idea selection and ideation process, we talk to practitioners. And I think one of my lessons is to meet the market very, very early. So that's what we need. So when the company was founded, we already knew that there is a pain. Of course, as we evolved and we built some prototypes and the product, and we actually gave it to our first design partners, then the product really became more and more precise over time. But we got early indicators for the traction, for the pain before we even started the company.
And tell me about that process of working with design partners to help you just design and polish the experience of the product.
Yeah, so I think it's ultra important to find early believers, right? If it's in the end, the startup is about the customer. So if you're not able to get people that want to use it, then it's a problem you want to tackle early on. So the first step is to find companies that share your vision. So you need to, in a way, crystallize your vision, show them, and make sure that they are aware that, one, you're going to deliver, but two, that you're early and that they're going to be part of the learning process. I think the benefit for them, they get to work with an early stage company and they get to shape a product that is suitable for their needs, and that's the upside. So it's been amazing. I think we owe a lot to the product that we have today to our design partners. And I think they also benefit from it themselves, but they need to be believers and they need to be early adopters in nature. It can be, by the way, a very large organization and a very small organization. I think it's more about the persona and the willingness of the team and the leadership to absorb new and cutting edge technology rather than one type of or size of organization.
I think it's actually a really interesting observation that it's really about the culture of the customer, not the size of the customer. And I've worked personally in my roles, I worked with very large companies that were very innovative and very eager to try new technologies. So what is kind of the future hold? Because now you have the product, you've gone out there to build the customer base, you're starting to get traction. Are you looking to continue to refine the product? Is it maybe about new markets or new customer segments?
World domination. No, but
well, always world domination.
It's but jokes aside. So today's an exciting day because we're meeting in the day that we're launching out of stealth. So it happened to be
awesome.
Yeah, it happened to be a really good timing. And for us right now, we already have a handful of customers that are using the product, and we thought it's a good timing for us when we see the product is mature enough to in a way to be globally available.
Sure.
So for us now, it's more about expanding the customer base with the focus on what we've already built, but actually using this expansion to build a roadmap ahead. So always we listen to customers and we build to their needs. So we already have something that's working and can deliver value today. So the goal right now is in a way just to sell it or get more organizations to use it. I think usage for us is even more important than selling. Selling comes when you deliver value, and then I'm pretty certain that it will change the roadmap as we see it now. So now we have multiple directions, both with more features and also with more depth to the product. But I'm sure that as more customers on board, we've seen it already with the customers we have right now, then it will be more crisp what exactly we need to invest in.
And do you see maybe on the horizon getting more funding and just trying to fuel expansion beyond your existing base?
Yeah, so we did our seed round 8 months ago, and we raised $11 million in the seed. So we are well funded for now, and we have a substantial runway to go. I think funding is a lot about opportunity. So when we will, in a way, we're not actively looking for fundraising right now, but as we expand, of course, and as we meet potential collaborators for the way, then of course we will also want to expand there. So it's part of the journey ahead for sure, not necessarily like in the upcoming quarter or something like that.
So you've been on this like wild roller coaster for about over a year, right? What did you learn in that journey so far? Like maybe is there a lesson learned or insight that you'd like to share with others?
Okay, that's a big question.
lots to think about there. But I mean, you've already shared so much about picking the right team, the and how you think about developing product. Is there something around there? Or?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I think in general, I worked for a startup before, and also from the early days. And I think as a founder, you get probably a more realistic view of the entire business and not only like a specific part, especially when it's early. And my lesson is, or my 2 cents is mostly about, and it's early, so I feel odd giving my 2 cents. Okay, but I think it's fine to try and share my perspective. So far, maybe we'll make an a year from now when it will be
Well, we'll absolutely need a year.
it will be a bit different. But for me, it's two things right now. It's people. So choose the right people to work with. It starts, of course, with the co-founders. It's like marriage in some sense. So you need to select people that it will be fun to fight with, and it will be fun to brainstorm, because obviously it's emotional and everyone are vested, and you want to choose people that you can actually work with in depth intensity. So I'm lucky to have amazing two co-founders. That's the first thing. And then the second, the core team of the company, it's also again about people. So choose the right people that will be with you in the trenches and will build a solid product with you. And lastly, pick the right customers that will, especially the early customers that are also partners. Like the early design partners it's called design partnership because they are partners in building the company as well. So that's about people. The second lesson is it's about, and I talked about it, about the process that I see of building a product. You need to meet the market as early as possible. That's the way that I see it. I think the bold founders, and I want to at least believe we are at least partially bold, it's especially if you have the right skill set technically, either yourself or for the team, is to pitch something that you believe that you can build, and first see that you have traction, and always make sure that you're building something that someone wants. And in this case, it means meet the market very early, even before you have something, and be bold enough to say, this is what you are building. And if you see traction, build it. If you don't see traction, don't build it. That's fine. So it's all about meeting the market as early as possible and continuously meeting the market. So you don't meet them once and then you come a year from now. You have to meet them on a usual cadence, either the same folks or ideally a mix of new folks and existing folks, and see that as you become more and more clear about what you do, it makes sense.
Absolutely agree. In every startup I've worked with, I've worked with many startups in my role. I think that's a really key observation. It's meeting the market early and then being choosy with the team you bring on and the customers you have.
Yeah.
This has been super awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure.
Likewise.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.